It's estimated that more than 100,000 gallons of crude oil spilled from a 24-inch underground pipeline on the morning of May 19th. The company responsible for operating the line says it's capable of transporting as much as 6.3 million gallons of crude every day. But on this day, it broke open, sending tens of thousands of gallons of the thick, smelly crude onto the sands of Refugio State Beach and into the waters off the coast of Santa Barbara. This created a big challenge for first responders and the community. Local officials joined forces with state and federal agencies to establish a unified command at the Santa Barbara Emergency Operations Center. Cleanup efforts began immediately on land and water. Barges provided floating work platforms, while boats laid booms and barriers, skimmers, and sorbent materials. On shore, crews worked to remove what's known as gross oil in the first stage of cleaning. And as the magnitude of the disaster began to emerge, volunteers from the community wanted to help, but they needed to be organized to respond safely and effectively.
A lot of volunteers have voiced concerns and a bit of frustration of being able to come out and work on the event. So we are now in the phase after gross oil removal, which is a much better place for volunteers to plug into.
Restrooms are right here, and there's water in the back.
Those volunteers who haven't been taught the basics of hazardous materials cleanup and wildlife care must first plug into a state-sponsored training course before hitting the beaches.
Today they're taking training so they can recognize what is dangerous and what is not, and also to give them a little overview of what's expected of them. Because without this training, someone's going to go out there and just think that they're supposed to clean the entire beach when it may not be safe. And we're also going over the personal protection equipment, what you need to wear to make sure that you're safe, because oil is a hazardous material.
Members of the local Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT, sign in spontaneous volunteers. Those not tied to any organization. And officials say the response was greater than expected.
Basically what we initially had thought would be about 30 people, but we're getting over about 75 people who've come in to volunteer, plus about 30 or so of the CERT volunteers helping to organize and conduct this training, so it's a great turnout.
We know that this crude oil can be a health hazard. We know that it could be a safety hazard.
Volunteers like Paul Zarzowski, whom you'll see later, soak in everything they need to know about the things they should and should not do to be safe during the cleanup. 4 hours later, they'll get one of these, a certificate of completion. Now it's off to the beach. The first two cleanup sites are Goleta Beach and Haskell's Beach.
And we'll all be out there, so if there's questions you're not sure.
CERT members receive their instructions. Yolanda McGlinchey trained them.
The pride is for them because they're actually helping their community. This is what they did. This is what they trained for. They took 8 weeks of classes and a drill to be able to help their community.
Yolanda's area has trained more than 4,000 CERT volunteers. Today, a few of those helped spontaneous volunteers check in, fill out important paperwork to get them started, and suit up.
You're going to be team two. All right. Team one, go ahead and start moving.
It's a worthwhile thing to get into.
The dive though? Yeah, once the water warms up a little bit more in the summertime.
So what is it you're picking up there?
These are the tar balls.
So how's it feel to be out here finally working?
It's great. I definitely, sitting through the class yesterday, just kind of antsy to get out here. So it's really relieving knowing that even if it's just a little bit that we're helping out in some way,
It's very zen-like work. So.
Remember Paul Zarzowski from the training class? Well, he's out here now, digging in and making good use of his time, especially since he gave up his Memorial Day holiday to help out.
Finding somewhere that I can pitch in, and this seemed like a good way.
There you go.
Up the coast at Haskell's Beach, volunteers are going through the same process of checking in and suiting up.
Da, 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 da. You are number one. You're all number one in our hearts. We love our volunteers.
Haskell's lies below Bacara, a local resort, whose staff offered up their hospitality as a thank you to the volunteers helping to clean the beach used by their guests.
The ocean motivated me. I belong to this world and I just love the ocean and I need to keep it clean.
Well, I was out here last Wednesday in my board shorts shoveling oil, so that's why I'm here to collect my equipment and to keep cleaning.
Today's cleanup equipment seems simple. A kitty litter scooper. It makes quick work, though, of separating the oil balls from the sand. technique is a little different without them, though.
So our technique right now is just kind of to corral up most of what you see in here since it's all mad together.
Cleaning up and trying to restore the coastline to its original condition will take time, and it's a process where officials often rely heavily on volunteers for its success.
We've been part of the volunteer coordinating committee since day one, organizing a big group of locals to come out and help out the beaches that they hold so dear. And it's great to see their passion. It's very inspiring, and I'm glad we can help and work together with them.
But we're all getting something, the benefits of their hard work. The beaches are getting cleaned up. The water is starting to look like it's supposed to. In fact, just 1 week after the oil spill, this is all that remains of any crew floating on top of the water. Passion inspires people to act selflessly, and there's a lot of that out here.
It was great, helping the community.
It seemed like the most direct and best way that I could help with this spill and make it nice to come back out to again.